one purchased car with cash for clunkers, I think, is the Corolla out of Toyota. I mean, does this make any sense? We're sending this money to Japan as if we hadn't already sent them enough. You know, this is a crazed policy that only a Washington bureaucrat could get behind. Of course, the public likes it because they get free cars. We're giving out candy to children. And of course, one of the other problems is, you know, the government now owns General Motors and Chrysler. Coincidence? I don't think so. You know, they're trying to help out their subsidiaries now by subsidizing auto sales. And of course, all the financing is going through GMAC, which is now a government-owned company. You know, what's probably going to happen in a couple of years is we're going to need a bailout for all the people who bought cars with their cash for clunkers money when they can't afford to make their car payments.
So let me ask you this, Sarah, on the topic of auto bailouts, was the government right to bail out GM and Chrysler, or should they have let them go bankrupt and go under?
Absolutely not. They were wrong to bail out Chrysler in late 1970s. They should have let it go under back then. It would have saved us a lot of money. The government shouldn't bail out anybody. Why should any company get a bailout? Why should a company be entitled to money? Because remember, when the government bails out one company, they have to take the money away from another company that was successful. Why should successful companies be punished to bail out unsuccessful companies? You know, capitalism is supposed to be like Darwin, survival of the fittest. The government is making it survival of the unfittest. They take money away from people who are doing it right and give it to people who are doing it wrong. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster, for destruction. It's a moral hazard, and it's immoral. I mean, why should you take money away from people and give it to other people? Especially a lot of the people who are getting these bailouts are very rich. The people who are benefiting from the AIG bailouts, these are rich people. They're getting huge monies in bonuses. You know, instead of getting bonuses, the employees of AIG should have got pink slips. In the meantime, the government is taxing middle-class Americans, people that are earning $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, to subsidize people who are earning millions of dollars a year. This is ludicrous.
Now, surprisingly, after a $700 billion TARP, $787 billion Obama stimulus, there's talk of even more bailouts and even a second stimulus. With people such as Warren Buffett, even Dr. Schiller, advocating a second stimulus, has America just lost touch with the reality of government spending?
Well, first of all, yeah, this is not the second stimulus. It's the third. Remember, the first stimulus were all the stimulus checks that George Bush mailed out. And that stimulus didn't work either. In fact, when Bush proposed that stimulus, I said it wouldn't work, and I said we would have a bigger stimulus down the line because we would say the first one was too small. And of course, even that wasn't the first stimulus. Back in 2001 and 2002, when the Fed slashed interest rates down to 1%, and when we turned our budget surpluses into budget deficits under George Bush, that was a stimulus. We stimulated our way out of that recession into this depression. We are suffering right now from an excess of government stimulus. We have overdosed on stimulus. And if they keep stimulating us, they'll kill us. We need to stop the stimulus. The stimulus is the problem. Unfortunately, the recession is the solution. As painful as it is, the recession is necessary so that the economy can correct itself from all the problems that were created during the phony economic boom that made this recession necessary.
So even with all the government spending ballooning out of control, at some point, when do we pull the plug?
I don't know. I hope I can get to Washington myself and pull it. Because if, you know, and this is the plug on the stimulus, not the plug on the economy. Because killing the stimulus is the only way to restore the economy to health. You know, we're never going to have a vibrant, productive economy if all of our efforts are focused on reflating the busted bubble. We have to let that bubble deflate. We have to let companies that are not profitable and that are not viable go bankrupt so that we can free up capital, so that we can free up labor to be used more efficiently and more productively.
Peter Schiff, president of Euro-Pacific Capital and potential U.S. Senate candidate. Peter, it was a pleasure to have you here on the program today. Great interview.
Thank you.
Signing off, I'm Dan Mangrew for Newsmax TV Money.